What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB Recap. Elly De La Cruz took over a game yesterday with his legs, his bat, and defense. He just has an unfair amount of tools. It's not fair. We saw one of the catches of the year down in Minnesota, but wasn't enough to hold off the Oakland Athletics. Multiple ejections happened, and Manny, he was not happy about a strike three call. This was one of the most heated exchanges I've seen in quite some time. This was in the Phillies game. And the Yankees, do they have a serious problem on their hands? In my opinion, they might have a few problems, so we'll talk about that in just a second. All of that and more in today's MLB Recap. We post these every single day, and don't forget, Recap is presented by SeatGeek. Use code Fuzzy to save 20 bucks off all of your tickets. And if you like daily fantasy sports, you have to download Underdog Fantasy. If you use my code on Underdog Fantasy, new users will get a $250 bonus cash credit and a free pick'em. You're welcome. We're going to start with the Dodgers game because just like the Yankees, LA has a problem as well, but they do not have an Ohtani problem. This guy's making $2 million to go the other way, almost like no one has ever done before in Major League Baseball history. His oppo power is just unfair. Glasnow, he struck out a few hitters in between Ohtani's first and second home run. He's got 19 home runs, 15 stolen bases. He could very well end up with a 7 F4 season as a DH. Frederick, he made it back-to-back. Shohei went 400 feet. Freddie beat him by 1 foot. He goes 401. They're taking daddy hacks on Father's Day, and this is where the Dodgers ran into a problem of their own. Luckily, Mookie Betts does not have a fracture or a break, but Mookie, he's going to be missing at least 2 weeks after taking 98 to the left hand. Evan Phillips, I got to shout out this guy. Their closer now has 10 saves, and since 2022, he has a 1.6 ERA. Now, before we move on, I do have to show off Tyler Glasnow's disgusting stuff. He tossed 7 scoreless on just 85 pitches. He struck out 9, only walked 1. He has 125 strikeouts already. That leads baseball by far. So before we show the Yankees game and the problem that bubbled to the surface, let's get this A's and Twins doubleheader out the way. Correa, he stays hot. JP Sears, he had not allowed a home run in like 30 or so innings, and he gave up back-to-back home runs. Correa gave Royce Lewis the secret as he was kind of crossing home plate, and Royce said, thank you. He bashed a home run. He's got 6 in like 35 at-bats, which is just disgusting. This throw from Willie Castro was also disgusting. He nabs Tyler Soderstrom trying for 2 bases. Speaking of 2, there's number 2 for Carlos. He had 3 base hits in game 1, 2 more in game number 2. He's hitting .511 over his last 11 games with 24 base hits over his last 11. Correa, he then turned to Bailey Ober. He's out of a jam. Bailey, he was so close to going 7 shutout, but Das Cameron, he did tag him for an earned run. Santana, he had his pitchers back. Carlos has 11 home runs. I think he's like 38, 39 years old, so the fact that he's doing this is crazy. And despite giving up a run, Johan Duran, he does secure his 11th save of the year. Kyle Farmer with a nice little play to end it. The Twins, they take game number 1. The A's have now lost 8 consecutive games. Can they break the curse in game number 2? I'm not so sure. Is Royce Lewis the best hitter in baseball history? He has 7 home runs in 12 games, 24 home runs in his first 84 big league games. Like, no joke, if he plays 162 and stays healthy, he might hit 50 to 60. Coming up, we have an interesting sequence of events. Interesting because look at that grab. Austin Martin with shades of Torrey Hunter. He brings it back, but the reason why I call it interesting is because Soderstrom, he got to third base, he tacked up twice, and a few moments after Martin made a sick play, he kind of botched this one, and 2 are able to score. Now, the Twins are losing. Zach Geloff, he pummeled a go-ahead double, and it was a go-ahead for all of like 4 seconds because Trevor Larnach tattooed a 3-run tater, his 7th of the year. JJ Bleday, he answered with his 10th home run, and Tyler Soderstrom, he put the tie in Tyler. He's hitting .370 with 4 home runs and 8 RBIs over his last 7 games. So again, it's tied at 5 when Minnesota said, nah, we'll be taking the lead back. Austin Martin, he doubled in Carlos Santana. Correa, he stayed hot like I said. He had 2 base hits in game number 2. That's an RBI single, and the A's will not go away. Soderstrom and Langoliers, they both clutched up for RBI base hits. This game was Uno reverse card after Uno reverse card, but this is it, I promise. Jose Miranda went 440 feet on that moonshot that seals the game. Griffin Jackson came out and he saved it. He's got 6 saves. The Twins, they do sweep the A's, and the A's have lost 9 in a row. Actually, one more game real quick before we show the Yankees problem. Cleveland also has a problem, and that is the fact that the Minnesota Twins are on fire and the Guardians are not. Former Guardian Ernie Clement, he seized his moment against his former team with a 2-run blast. Definitely a cool moment for him. You know what else is cool? Steven Kwan hitting .390 on the season. He's on an 11-game hit streak. Freeman, he tied it moments later on a bases-loaded double play for an RBI. Apparently, Dalton of our show, he took note. He did not want to have a double play with the bases loaded. He goes yard. He's got 11 home runs, 7 stolen bases, 13 defensive run saves. I mean, he's on pace for a 20 home run, almost 20 stolen base, 20 DRS season. He's a 5'8" short king. I love him. Addison Barger, the rookie, he lasered a single for a big 7th run, and it's big because look at Cleveland. Daniel Schneemann, he went the other way for his first home run. By the way, he's the first player ever to have a home run and 1 DRS at 3 different positions in his first 25 at-bats. Brian Rocchio, he's got 2 home runs the last week. Stephen Kwan, he grabbed his 4th base hit. He's now hitting .398, looking like prime Ichiro with the Gold Glove defense as well. But dang it, the Guardians could not muster up a comeback. Nate Pearson, he gets the final out. The Jays take the series in Toronto, and I just want to say as a Guardians fan, I'm a little worried about our pitching depth because we need Gavin Williams back. Ben Lively, Carlos Carrasco, they're nice stories, but I don't know if they're going to hold up the rest of the way. The Twins, they've won 5 games in a row, by the way. They're 5.5 games back at first place. So yeah, they're coming for first place, and they're coming fast. Whoa, holy pause. But now staying with signs of showing some cracking, just like the Guardians starting pitching depth, I've seen a lot of Yankees fans worried about their team after this last series against the Red Sox. Not this guy, though, because he's automatic. Nothing to worry about with Aaron Judge, who now has 26 home runs and already a 5 F4 on the year. That ball stayed in the air forever. Boston, they answered. Cedar Rafaeli, he grabbed the lead with a 2-run single, and Rafi, he had 2 RBIs as well. The first on a double play, the second on this sac fly right here. So it's 4-1 Boston when Jose Trevino, who's actually one of the problems that we're going to talk about, he went yard. We'll talk about his problems in a second. It's 4-3 in the 7th inning after Volpe scored on a wild pitch, but the Yankees reliever, Luke Weaver, he was not great, like not great at all. Rafael Devers' 3rd RBI started a huge rally. Connor Wong, he legged out a triple. Russ Snyder and Devers both score. Fast forward to the 8th inning, David Hamilton, he makes it 8-3, and it would have been 9-3 had Soto not tossed a seat to Nab Duran at home plate, but not to worry. Connor Wong, his 3rd RBI of the day, made it 9-3 anyways. In scores David Hamilton, who had 4 stolen bases. He's got 18 on the year, but Boston as a team had 9 stolen bases off of Jose Trevino. That is a Boston franchise record. Let me repeat that. 9 stolen bases in 1 game off 1 guy. Trevino's pop time is an issue, and not only that, Anthony Rizzo now has a 79 OPS plus. He's a free agent after this season. By the way, I'm hoping that he's okay because he took a tumble at first base. So Rizzo, he's been awful. So do they move on from him? Because 25-year-old Ben Rice has 12 home runs and 8 stolen bases in AAA. DJ LeMahieu was hitting 188. Gleyber Torres has an 80 OPS plus. He's also a free agent. What are the Yankees going to do with Gleyber, Rizzo, and DJ? I'm not saying they should just completely give up on them. They should have some leash, but it's not looking too great from those 3 guys. So not only did the Yankees kind of show some warts, but Baltimore, they clutched up and they flexed their muscles against the Phillies of all teams. I thought that Wheeler versus Burns was going to be a fun matchup, but apparently the Orioles, they found the auto home run cheat code, and I think they entered it before the game. It was probably up, down, left, right, triangle, square, something like that. That's a leadoff home run for Gunnar, who now has 22 home runs and 6 defensive run saves. Colton Cowser, he says goodbye. 443 feet, good lord. And Adley Rutschman, the 2016 first overall pick, now has 14 home runs and a 133 OPS plus. Zach Wheeler was not great, but at least he secured his 1,500 strikeouts. That's a lot of strikeouts. I do want to show that. But again, this game was all Baltimore. Jordan freaking Westberg, he's got 11 home runs, 42 RBIs, and by the way, he's top 8% in sprint speed. This is the first time ever that a team had 4 home runs in 1 game off of Zach Wheeler. Baltimore, they went 8-3, but we have to tip the cap to Corbin Burns, who struck out 7 in 6. He wasn't his best self, so the fact that he can strike out 7 in 6 innings, turn in a quality start while not really performing at his best, that's crazy. He has a 2.1 ERA. Before we move on, I do want to check out the exchange between Philly manager Rob Thompson and the home plate umpire, because it was all over a hit by pitch of Garrett Stubbs that was reversed because he was out of the box or something like that, and I have not seen an exchange like this in quite some time. Rob Thompson versus the home plate umpire. I mean, they must have been chatting about episode 3 of The Acolyte and saying if it was good or not. Space witches, are they cool or are they not cool? That must have been what caused that heated exchange, because wow, that was personal. Now, if you guys don't remember, the Brewers gave up Corbin Burns for Joey Ortiz. Now, he's not really a factor in this game, but we're going to talk about his new team, the Brewers. Please look at the screen. Ellie De La Cruz, he showed off the all-time sprinter speed. He tripled to right field, just penciling 3 bases if he hits any gap. Jamir had a sac fly, so Ellie jogs in. More Ellie action. He got on in the 3rd inning. He stole his 36th bag, but he's not done yet. His speed got in the head of Colin Ray, the pitcher for the Brewers. The errant pickoff throw went into center, and Ellie, he scored from second base. I think he's the only one who scores on that. Bobby, Corbin Carroll, they're just as fast, but I think Ellie's length allowed him to get in there. Spencer Steer, the man who rakes. He's got 8 home runs, 42 RBIs, and 12 stolen bases. Cincinnati, they owned and dominated the first half of this game, but they lost the second half. Jackson Chourio, he got Milwaukee on the board with an RBI ground out. Ellie, he made a nice play, but he can't make a play on this one. Got to be pumped up for Willy Adames. The soon-to-be free agent now has 12 home runs, 51 RBIs, 10 stolen bases, and 8 outs above average. Yelly, he added a big 5th run in the 7th, and I don't have time to show it because Ellie, he just went yard off a lefty. He's only hitting 220 versus lefties, so if he somehow figures it out over time, sheesh. So now it's 5-4 Milwaukee. Cincinnati has 2 on in the 9th. Espinal, he flared one to center. They sent Stuart Fairchild, but Blake Perkins said no. He's got the hose piece. He has 7 outs above average. The Brewers, they've won 2 in a row. They kind of just put the Reds in their place over the last 48 hours. We're going to talk about 2 more NL Central teams real quick. The Cubs, they're really going through it lately. Brandon Crawford, he split the gap for a double. It could have been a single for all Pedro Pajes cared because he hit one into the jet stream. The wind, it carried it out. His 2nd home run in the last 3 games. Miles Michaelis, he's been pretty good over the last he's been pretty good over the last month. He's been spamming the strike zone, and he allows the other team to put in play. He thrives on weak contact and great defense. Now he's gone 14 consecutive innings without allowing a single run or a walk. Actually, I don't know about the walk over the 14 innings, but I know he did not walk anyone in this start. St. Louis, they tried to get him to go 7, but after an Ian Happ single, Miles is out, and Michael Busch, he tagged the relief pitcher on a double down the line. They get out of that one, and now we're in the 9th. Ryan Helsley, he's been so good, but he walked Dansby Swanson. 2 runners are on. Wisdom, he's deployed as a pinch hitter. He smokes a line drive, but Brendan Donovan, he tracks it down. Helsley now has 24 saves, and the Cubs, I hate to say this, but they dropped to 4 games under 500. They're 34-38. Enough of the low-scoring games. I want to see a team score double digits, and luckily, we have 3 of those coming up. The Giants, they got embarrassed by Logan O'Hoppe and the Angels 24 hours prior, and is it about to happen again? It's already 2-0 Angels. Nolan Shawnee will just hit the longest home run of his career. That's the first time the 2023 first-round pick went over 400 feet, but here comes the Giants. Tyro Estrada, he laced a 2-run double in the 4th inning, and Brett Wisely, I love dudes who don't wear batting gloves. It just makes it look more old school. He's hitting .313 in 23 games, so 2-run doubles in the 4th inning, and San Francisco wasn't even close to being done. Matt Chapman, he rocketed an RBI single off Luis Rengifo's wrist. He had to come out the game. I'm hoping that he's going to be all right, and yeah, that just happened. Jorge Soler's 8th home run was an impressive one in my opinion. He caught up to 96 upstairs. Austin Slater, he had a nice little day as well. After an RBI single in that same inning, the 4th inning, he cracked one out to make it double digits for the Giants. They ran it up to 13 after Soler ripped another RBI extra base hit. There was a few other RBIs and stuff like that, but we're going to skip to the 9th because Camilo Doval, he's currently imploding. He allowed 4 runs. He started throwing coolers and his glove in the dugout after being taken out. He almost has a 5 ERA on the season. He's probably just really frustrated. The Giants, they do win it though. They tried to give it away, but they do win. We almost had the same sort of score in the Diamondbacks and the Mets games. Jock Peterson, he turned on a pitch to lace one down the right field line. 2 score easy. He wants 3 real bad. He's so close, but he is thrown out at third base. Do you guys want to see a perfect home run? Christian Walker, he had to have hit that baseball 200 miles an hour. I will not believe StatCast if it only says 109. I thought he had another one. His 3rd base hit of the game settles for a double. He's now 1 RBI away from 50 on the season. Jake McCarthy, he lifted a sac fly to score Peterson, and the White Sox, they then saw red. Like, not red as in they got angry and made a comeback. They kept hitting red on their pitching meter. Chad Kuhl, he's getting one more chance at the big leagues, and gotta feel bad for the guy. There was a walk, there was a wild pitch. After that, there was another walk, and another wild pitch, not even close. Moreno, he gets all the way to 3rd, and just embarrassing. That's the 2024 White Sox in a nutshell. Arizona, they rubbed it in with a few more runs in the 6th as Jake McCarthy, he tripled to left field, which should never happen. In my opinion, the White Sox, they got to give up. They got to flip Luis Robert Jr., Garrett Crochet. Like, they are so far from being competitive. Get rid of Michael Kopech as well. Just clean house fully. The Mets had a little field day versus the Padres, and it started off with Francisco Lindor leading off with a home run into the 2nd deck. He's got 12 home runs. I really feel like he's going to be a 400 double, 300 home run, 200 stolen base guy, which is insane for a shortstop. Pete Alonso, he said, thanks for the middle fastball, Mr. Dylan Cease. He's nasty, but again, big league hitters, they will hit mistake pitches, and that had way too much of the play. So $15,000 to animal shelters, because if you guys forgot, Pete Alonso is donating $1,000 for every single home run that he hits. Bader, he got to Cease in the 4th. He pulled one to left on a pitch way outside. Lindor, another RBI. After that sac fly, JD Martinez, he got a hold of one. I thought that was going to leave, but it barely stays in. He's got 3 doubles, 3 home runs and 8 RBIs over the last 4 games. The Mets staff briefly lost their cool. Ha-Seong Kim, his double in the 8th made it a 2-run game. Camp Usano sac fly made it a 1-run game. So Tatis, he's got a chance to flip the script. Nope, that slider upstairs got him. So the Padres, they ran out of runs, while the Mets, they had plenty left in their back pocket. Luis Torrens, he's got 3 home runs in the first 2 weeks of his career as a Met. Brandon Nimmo, he drove in 1 on a single. Pete Alonso, he is desperately trying to make sure that he gets his bag in a few months. After this 2-run knock, it's a 5 RBI day. His power is legendary, we know that, but he's only hitting .225 with a .315 on base since last year. I still think he's going to get $20+ million, but if he wants the $28 to $35 million, he's got to be 2021, 2022 Pete Alonso the rest of the way, where he was basically a .270 hitter with a near .350 on base. The Mets, look at this. They won 5 games in a row. Now, before we move on, I do have to show that in this game, Manny, he was rung up and he got ejected on a bad strike 3 call. He's got a 93 OPS plus. He's been playing decent defense. I'll give him that. Now, luckily, they reworked his contract. He's only making $17 million this year, but that will balloon to $39 million a year in 2027 when he's 34 years old. They have to win before that. The Machado and Xander contracts are going to eat them alive if age and attrition catches up to them and their production keeps on waning. Those contracts are looking rough. The Mets have won 5 games in a row, so we're going to go from a team who's won 5 to a team who won by 5. I would absolutely not want to face the Seattle Mariners in a 5-game or 7-game playoff series because their staff has been great all year. I mean, look at Logan Gilbert using that splitter to perfection, strikeout after strikeout after strikeout. That one to end the third was actually a slider. Logan was untouchable in this one. His offense kind of had some trouble versus Dane Dunning, but Luke Raley finally kind of figured it out in the 4th inning. His 7th double brought in the game's first run, and look at how Seattle got their 2nd run. Dane, he spiked a fastball or whatever that was. Josh Rojas, he scored from 2nd on the wild pitch. Logan Gilbert, he's disgusting. Adolis, he was guessing all the way. He looked silly. Langford's weak flyout made it a 7 shutout performance for Gilbert. And Locklear, this guy can swing it. Tyler Locklear had 29 home runs and a 910 OPS in the minor leagues. And Logan, I keep forgetting that he can pump it up to 97 in the 8th inning. That was paint as well. He broke out the splitter one more time, so 8 scoreless for Logan. He's got a 2.9 ERA. He's their number 3 starter behind George Kirby and Luis Castillo. Seattle, they scored a few more to make it 5-0, and they actually sweep the Rangers. They go from 5.5 games ahead for first place to 8.5 games. The only pitcher that can say he was maybe better than Logan Gilbert was Ronel Blanco of the Astros. Now, before we show him Yordan, he wanted some shine. He's slumping with a .290 batting average and 37 RBIs with only a 148 OPS plus. That's actually like 15 or 20 points lower than his career OPS plus. Altuve, this dude he's gonna cartwheel into the Hall of Fame. I don't care about what happened, and if you guys are still holding that against him, get over yourselves, because over his last 161 games, he's hitting .306 with 35 doubles, 28 home runs, 24 stolen bases, a 143 OPS plus. He is going to cartwheel into Cooperstown. Ronel Blanco was terrific on the bump, like I mentioned. There he is getting leather on a Baddoo base hit. It wasn't a base hit because he got leather on it. Altuve, he finishes the play. Carson Kelly, see ya. And McKinstry, he went down swinging on a changeup. Riley Green, same thing. Mark Canha, the White Castle special. All that means is that he threw 3 sliders in a row. Colt Keith, I mean, it's not even looking all that hard for Ronel Blanco. He was perfect through 5, and that walk ruined it. There's another walk. Blanco, he made it 3 consecutive walks. What is going on? Thankfully, McKinstry flies out, so the no-hitter is still intact. He goes 7 scoreless, no base hits, and they took him out with 94 pitches. Are you serious? Only 6 pitchers ever have thrown 2 no-nos in one season, and the guy's last name is Blanco. Let him try for it. He's got the name for it. Presley, he ruins the no-hitter. Hader ruins the shutout. Whatever. The Astros, they still take 2 of 3 from the Tigers. If you guys like home runs, you're going to really love this next game. After Randy singled in the game's first run, Jared Kelenic, he went yaya. He's been really feeling himself in a leadoff spot. He's got back-to-back games with the home run. Travis D'Arnaud said Travis Star, yes, he went way out with the 430-foot shot to dead center. And Tampa Bay, they wanted in on the home run fun. Brandon Lau, he tied it. And Waldrop, after loading the bases, Ben Rorfit, did he just... Is that staying fair? It does. Ben's first home run of the season is a grand one. And are you serious? Another home run. Austin Riley has arrived, everyone. 3 consecutive games with the home run. He's one of my favorite players in baseball, and he has been for quite some time. So we have a tie game at 6-6. Jose Siri, How did he just do that? The ball was at his shins. Over his last 162 games, he's got 33 home runs, 19 stolen bases, 12 outs above average. So that's really good, but also he's been awful with the 270 on base. So is he good or not? Like, he's one of the worst good players or one of the best bad players in baseball. Pete Fairbanks was in for the save. He gets Ozzy Albies right there. He's got 10 saves on the year. The Rays, they're 34 and 38. So just like the Cubs, they're 4 games under 500. Pittsburgh put up 8 runs as well, but their final score looked a whole lot better than the Rays. Triolo, he scored on a Captain Jack single. Anytime that Jack Sawinski does something, I will be calling him Captain Jack because I love Pirates of the Caribbean. Jared Triolo's at the dish now, and he chopped one up the middle. 2 more score for the Pirates. Now, I will say, this inning should have been over. Victor Vodnik had 100 paint. That was not called a strike 3, and, well, that sucks. Jason DeLay, again, he should have not been up, but he goes the other way for a huge base-clearing double. Rowdy Tellez is now hitting like 350 over the last 2 weeks. That's a 2-run single, and this is MLB The Show coming to real life. Look at how Nolan Jones got his 3rd base hit of the day. That probably had to have hurt Nolan. He's hitting 444 with a 583 on base percentage over his last 6 games. He's finally looking healthy. Sorry, I had to fanboy real quick. The Pirates, they win massive, and Paul Skeens, he's going later today. Do not miss out on that start. He's so much fun to watch. And the final game of the recap before we get into the web gems, Lane Thomas, he did it again. 3 consecutive games with the home run against the Marlins. Mitchell Parker, he was great. He got some help from Jacob Young, but the reason why I kind of stammered a little bit is because he could not help himself out. Ash Chisholm was given a base hit on that little squibbler. It's 1-1. Did Jacob Young help out his pitcher again? His first career home run gives Mitchell the lead back. He's got 17 stolen bases, 5 DRS, and 9 outs above average, so he's literally a better version of Miles Straw. Mitchell Parker did not let that 1 run phase him. He goes 6 innings with 4 strikeouts. He has a very impressive 3 ERA and 12 starts. Remember, he's a rookie. Ildemaro Vargas, this guy's been pretty good. That's an RBI right there. He's got 14 RBIs, which is the amount of strikeouts that he has. He has 13 walks to 14 strikeouts. That is insane. Derek Law, he had to go hug his first baseman because he spiked an easy throw. Down goes Vidal Brujan. Cal Finnegan has 20 saves on the season. So the Nationals, they sweep the Marlins, and they're now 12-8 over their last 20 games. Good for them. So that does it for today's recap. If you guys watched all the way until the end, I just want to say thank you so much for your support. It really means the world to me. Enjoy the rest of your day, and enjoy the web gems.
On the ground, speaking of shortstop, sliding stop Swanson. Long for the first is good. And he hits one toward the middle of the diamond. McNeil with a nice backhand. Toward third. Oh, Urshela. What a fancy play.
Ball's drilled. This goes over there. Wow. Just, yeah.
Looks 0 for 1. Fly ball to center. Jazz started back. Now he's got to race in, and he makes.
And then Tatis flies one out to right, and Marte diving, and he made. Chopped. Nice backhand, India. Looks back to Rang. Cuts.
Minnesota. Popped up towards center field. J.J. Bleday charging in, charging out to the middle infielders, and the
scores as well. And on the ground, Volpe, tough one to his left, gets it, throws, and
lined into left field and sinking on Melendez, who makes a dive.